Hi, it's James Taylor here from Gigs Academy. So at the Supercharge stage, this is really all about stepping on the gas. You've built up your audience at this point for what you're doing. You've got a solid foundation in terms of your music, your songs, your live show, your fans, and now it's a case of stepping on the gas, really applying yourself very intensively, working on your career as a musician. And this point, it's normally demonstrated because you start to see massive fan growth at this point. All those people, you've got your early adopters here. This is when you really start to see the mass adoption of people coming into and learning about your music, buying your albums, buying your tickets for your shows. It's also the time that you probably have your first hit album. Now, when I talk about hit albums, I'm always conscious here that for a lot of artists, they say when you say hit albums, they think that means 1 million copies. And depending on what style of music you're involved in, that isn't maybe not necessarily the case. I've seen artists have incredibly successful careers, and a hit album in their market is 10,000 copies, throughout the course of their career, or even 5,000 copies because they have other revenue streams that are coming in as well, or maybe they're releasing albums at once a year, a much more rapid rate. So it really depends, and I've worked with artists in the classical world, in the jazz world, in the pop world, in the rock, even in dance music. So I've seen all these different stages, and I've seen it being applied to artists in different styles and genres. The other thing you're going to start noticing here is you're going to be getting your first sellout tours. So at the refined stage, you'll probably start having sellout shows, but here you're going to be seeing an entire tour sellout. That's when you're at this stage. That's when you're kind of getting mastery of this stage as well. Another byproduct of this is growth of your team. Here you may have an agent, manager as part of your team, maybe an attorney helping you with any kind of contracts you need to do. But here you're going to start having things like tour managers, guitar tech, drum tech. If it's a band, you're going to have maybe a merchandise person that's on the road with you as well. Now, I've seen artists who do really, really well at this stage because, as well as building their fan base, they're also able to build a really great team around them and their music that are with them for years and years after this, and can really make the process of life on the road much more enjoyable because there's a kind of camaraderie with a team that you don't always get, and you're maybe not going to have at these stages where you're a lone wolf or you're just kind of going around on your own as a band, for example. So that's the Supercharge stage. Now, most of the issues I see, the artists that contact me, they're either at this between trying to get from validation to refining, or from refining to supercharge. So I have entire courses, say on the live side, on how to take your live career from this stage to this stage, or this one to this one. So I'll tell you about that maybe in some future videos. But these are the stages you've kind of gone through. So you've started exploring. Initially, you've validated what you're doing, so people actually want it, and you're making a really strong connection with your fans. You're refining it, so you're getting much slicker, both in your marketing, your stage shows, your songs, and then you get your first hits, the Supercharge. Now, at this point, I see a number of artists that end up just moving back to these stages because they're not prepared for it in some cases, and maybe they haven't done some of these other things that well, and they've got rocky foundations for what they're doing.